highest highs, the lowest lows. That is the Anthony Richardson experience. When you turn on his film, you get a little bit of everything, where one moment he looks like a generational quarterback with a Cam Newton-y, Josh Allen-y vibe, and the next he looks like he'll flame out before he ever begins. Bombs, epic runs, playing from inside the pocket, then bad processing, bad accuracy, bad pocket presence. All of these things can literally happen in the same drive. Yes, you could be drafting a guy in the first round who might be better than anybody, or might not be better than anybody at all. Today we'll go through those highs and lows and determine if he's the next great thing, or if he's nothing. We'll start with his target heat map since it always provides more context for the quarterback's play and what his offense asked him to do. The red shows where he targets more than average, the blue less than average, and we can see that Florida tried to emphasize his arm strength. In his only full season starting, just 393 career passing attempts, his 11.5 average depth of target was 9th highest in the country, which can help at least partially explain his 53 completion percentage, which was 168th. Florida ran play-action shot plays, deeper targeting play-action concepts all the time. 44% of his dropbacks were play-action, and Richardson showcased his cannon of a right arm, repeatedly firing shots deep down the field. His best highlights are him attacking vertically, displaying good ball placement on throws 50 or 60 yards down the field. That arm strength allows him to make throws that nobody else can even attempt, especially some extremely flashy plays on the run, and with his mobility plus that arm strength, he can produce in ways only a few can. You can install any kind of running package you could possibly dream up with him. He's fast, he's strong, he's agile, he'll run you over or around you, and with his 6'4", 232-pound frame, he can take the punishment and dish it out too. One of the primary things I'm looking for when I scout quarterbacks is their ability to win from mainly inside the pocket, since it's the most translatable and foundational asset on which to build consistency, and Richardson has shown he can win from in it. Utah is showing a 2-deep shell, which could either be cover 4 or cover 2, but when Richardson fakes the snap, we get a whole lot of movement, both corners jump back, one safety jumps down, so Richardson checks to a play that attacks the middle of the field vertically. Utah is in fact dropping both those corners deep as what are typically the 2 deep safeties in cover 2, and both safeties are actually coming down. Richardson checks to double seams with a comeback at the bottom, and he starts with his eyes on the weak safety, sees he's coming down, which is surprising, knows his tight end won't reach the depth he needs him to pick up the first, so he progresses backside to his receiver and on time throws an absolute seed. Good footwork and good pocket presence tells a story of what happened on the play, where he sees the safety rotating down, takes a hitch to confirm what he's seeing backside, and then throws an absolute dime with some heat. This is about as good as it gets, no notes whatsoever, but this is literally the best and only rep where he puts everything together. On the rest of his tape, his footwork is bad, his timing is bad, he can't get through multiple reads, he has poor accuracy. Seeing him put it all together once makes me want to think he's capable, because if he can do it once, he can do it over and over if he has good coaching. But the inconsistency on his film is just insane. He can make the highlight throws like we've seen, but when teams challenge him with tougher coverages or cover up his first read, he struggles big time. Take this 2-play example where Florida is running drive dagger, a concept they ran, 3,000 times. Drive is this concept here with a shallow and dig behind it, and if both those routes aren't open, the dagger should come free backside. Florida makes a lot of their read keys very simple for Richardson since he's super inexperienced, so they make the linebacker opposite the drive concept the read key, and it's just an if-then. If he falls back for the dig, then Richardson throws the shallow, and if he sits underneath for the shallow, then Richardson throws the dig. Florida motions their running back outside to get the second level to bump over to really isolate that will linebacker, and when Richardson sees him sit underneath, he fires in a clean pass to Ricky Pearsall. The Gators had no problem running drive dagger multiple times in game. In fact, some weeks they'd run it 5+ times throughout the day, but here Muhammad Diabate doesn't get as fooled on the motion and sits in the dig window. Instead of sitting in the pocket and targeting Xavier Henderson on the dig, who does have separation, Richardson drops his eyes to try and make a play with his feet. We can get a real good look at what he's processing from the tight angle, where he's watching that will linebacker to see what he does, sees him sit underneath, progresses to the dig, but Diabate is in the window. This is a good example of Richardson's poor pocket presence, where he has a completely clean pocket to operate from, but he slides into edge pressure unnecessarily instead of targeting dagger, and while we can see his mobility, the pass still falls incomplete. Opposing defenses know that this is his weakness. They challenged him to sit in the pocket and win with multiple reads, but that's not something he can do at a consistent level, and that's worrisome. On another two-play example, here he does a great job reading post-snap. Southern Florida is in a pretty clear cover 3 defense with these 3 deep defenders, but with a fake clap, which he's really good at, he sees the field safety starting to rotate deep, implying a 2-high coverage, and at the bottom they have smash, which is a 2-high beater. In 2-high, there's a ton of space up the sideline, so with smash you can isolate and vertically stretch this flat defender. But in 1-high cover 3, the concept is dead, since that corner drops deep and takes away the corner route. And sure, you can take the hitch before this guy gets over, but it ain't much. The reason the backer is tucked so far inside is because it's too high, but Richardson still needs to confirm. He sees that they're disguising and the safety is flying to his deep half over the top, so he knows that the corner is the flat defender, and he has a little time to operate since this safety is far. He sees the corner squat on the hitch, and now watch this. He looks back at the safety, check out what it does to him, and then he throws, once again, just an absolute seed. He saw the safety rotating into 2-high, he saw the cornerback sitting flat, and he knew to hold the safety for just a step and then throw the rock. This is incredibly promising. This is the ceiling that every interested team is signing up for. But when defenses add just one more step to their coverage and tighten things up, he completely falls apart. With Florida running the same concept, but now with a double in on the backside, South Florida is adjusted by playing cover 6, which is actually still technically the same coverage to the smash side, but as the safety playing closer to his assignment and not disguising. Richardson eyes him, progresses to the flat defender again, who's doing the same thing, but when he rears back to throw, the safety is in position and the corner just isn't open. This moment is where the major question marks in his game explode. Instead of sitting in and progressing to the second in-breaker, he just blindly throws it to the first. Footwork tells a story of every play. Well, way too often his story takes a complete 180 halfway through. He uses the same exact process as before, but when it doesn't work, he doesn't have a second pitch, a backup plan, anything, and that's what worries me when projecting him. There are some little things that he can get cleaned up. He struggled with some pre-snap stuff where he'd kind of doom himself before the play even started. This is 3rd and 5 and we get a man coverage tell based on the positioning of the defense. Utah has all their defenders in the box, but instead of throwing like a curl against off man, he chooses the slant against inside leverage to the short side of the field with a free defender right inside waiting. I'm not super worried about this stuff. Pre-snap is way easier to coach up than post-snap, but this just really points to Richardson's general lack of inexperience. We haven't seen first-round quarterbacks have NFL success who have thrown as few passes as he has. Even Mitch Trubisky threw about 200 more than his 393. And while college stats aren't by any means what translates to NFL success, Richardson's are shockingly bad. He had that 53 completion percentage like I said. That dropped all the way to 48% on 3rd downs and 37% on 3rd and 7-9. He had a 28% uncatchable pass rate, which was 7th worst in the nation, and too often he's missing easy throws that an NFL quarterback just simply cannot. He's not an anticipation thrower. He's not, at least consistently, comfortable in the pocket. His footwork is erratic, there is no rhythm to his game, he hangs on receivers too long, and he struggles when he's pressured. But there are those rare moments where we see what he could be. We see that if he is able to harness these incredible tools, those brief moments where he's put it all together are mouthwatering. His comp to me is Jalen Hurts, but with a stronger arm and a little more mobility when throwing on the run. But as we know, Hurts needed a year on the bench to learn how to be an NFL quarterback, and he didn't start right away. Anthony Richardson is not ready to start, but if there's a team like the Lions or Seahawks who have that plan in place, with a competent quarterback who can mentor him, with a competent surrounding roster, with a great system and coach, he can be a star. Situation is so important in the NFL, and I know it gets talked about to death, but this is truly make or break for the kid. He needs time to work on his footwork and make it second nature, and he needs reps to practice getting to his 3rd and 4th read so he can attack all areas of the field against any coverage. We see some of the ability to audible into the right play. We see some of the ability to process coverage rotations and attack defenses where they're weak. It just needs to be fleshed out for him, practiced, honed, mastered. so he can reach his lofty potential. Just like Will Levis, Anthony Richardson will not be ready day one. If he finds that team that is willing to manage him and be patient, he will develop, he will be a star, and he will take the NFL by storm. Thank you so much to all of you who support this channel each and every week. It has been such a wild ride just finishing a 4th NFL season. That is insane. This is really my dream I get to live out every week. And I want to make sure that I thank more than anybody all my Patreon supporters, new and old. You guys are really what make it possible. And also I want to thank those of you, you know who you are, who I interact with every week in the comments. We go back and forth, we mess around, we talk football. You are what this channel is all about. I'm going on a trip with SophMDs this upcoming week, so there won't be an episode, but I will be back the Saturday after that, up until the draft, pushing out episodes on these different prospects, and then we'll get into regular offseason content, so please comment anybody you want to see, draft or afterwards, and I'm excited to dive in. I am off to Mexico, but I will be still watching film, promise you that, even on the beach. So yeah, until that next Saturday, thanks again to everybody. I really appreciate it. And until then, see ya.